I'm John Sabey. I'm the CEO of Sabey Corporation. We do life sciences work in the Seattle market, and we have a mixed-use, adaptively reused building here at the base of the Brooklyn Bridge at 375 Pearl. It has data center space in the bottom half of the building for life sciences and hospitals there. And I think somebody else from our organization, Clee Casper, is going to talk a little bit more about the building on it later. Patrick, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. It should be on.
How are we doing? Oh, good. Okay. My name is Patrick Burke. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Capital Projects up at Columbia University Medical Center. We oversee, all of the medical school, dental school, and the other life sciences schools that are up there, in addition to a very broad portfolio of about 750 different research labs and all the technical environments that go hand in hand with that. In addition, we also have the off-site clinical portfolio, and we are very proud to be the university partner to New York Presbyterian Hospital.
Excellent. So I wanted to just kind of start off really quickly. What are the academic institutions doing in life sciences development today? We heard a little bit this morning about some of the private institutions and the drug companies, but what are the academic institutions doing in life sciences today?
So it's very interesting is that the university went through a major sort of reevaluation probably about a year, 10, 15, 20 years ago to really look at the next areas of focus. And as probably just about everybody in the room knows and understands, the mind-brain behavior building is really now just getting occupied in the Manhattanville campus. With that is that the medical center is that there's been many of the investigators, not all, but many of the investigators that go into that mind-brain behavior building vacate a lot of existing older buildings that need to, become homes for new science and new research and so forth. Basic life science is really at the heart of what we do and has been for many years. NIH-sponsored science. A lot of focus is now in, again, sort of motor neuron, epilepsy types of things, neurology types of components. Certainly the genomics is, has been at the forefront of discussions for a long time, but now is really starting to get to the next level in terms of, clinical relationships and so forth.
Excellent. One of the things we're talking about is given the age of the lot of the buildings on the campus and surrounding, we heard a little bit this morning about how some of the other organizations build new buildings or adaptively reuse. What can you share with us, or some of the types of science that is the new forefront in basic life sciences, and how are you adaptively reusing some of the older buildings to incorporate some of the new science that's coming around?
My counterpart down in Manhattanville, he's the lucky guy to work with, the terrific engineers in the room, JB&B and the architects and the engineers to build the brand new buildings. I'm the guy that, gets to go in and do the renovation work on the older buildings. So with that is that it's a lot of the work is just really around genomic medicine at this stage of the game, and looking at really sort of the fundamental support and how that will really benefit genomic modeling on an individual by individual basis. So with that is just that there's core facilities, there is translational medicine facilities. There's very much a tremendous reuse of very old laboratory space, total gut renovation, new infrastructures that go into old buildings, and then to be, on the floor-by-floor types of renovations.
So you talked a little bit about some of the technology there. How does technology continue to inform some of the basic life science research that is going on now at Columbia University?
Yeah, so, again, it's so there's a couple different things. Is that certainly the data sciences is really, I think, at the forefront of the genomic medicine. We have two key components: personalized genomic medicine and the Institute for genomic medicine. And in addition to that is that technology has done, or is, for decades, has really informed imaging. And you're really starting to get to sort of the next level of imaging, both on the sort of research side and then clearly on the clinical side. So with that is that that happens at a couple different levels. One is that at really sort of the subatomic and a molecular level with cryo-electron microscopy. Tremendous advances in that. It's been a technology that's been around for a long time, but it's really come to the
Does everybody
forefront.
know what that is? We might stop and actually explain that.
Oh,
We do have, I think we have a sophisticated room, but there might be a few that don't know what that is.
It's a very expensive microscope that can't wiggle. It's got to be perfectly temperature controlled, and the power's got to be really smooth. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. But with that is that was Joachim Frank was this year's 2017 Nobel laureate in chemistry. That work was really sort of his life work that happened in many different institutions, but over really about the last decade or so has happened up at the medical center. So with that is the university is making really next major steps in terms of commitment to that level of analysis. I think sort of more sort of familiar with people is that you're seeing tremendous advances in MRI technology, CT, PET imaging, and all those types of imaging where it's going from research types of models to also to translating into clinical evaluations.
Excellent. One of the unique things that we get a perspective of being in the data center business is the intersection of life sciences and the data computational services that kind of go along with that. We have a number of hospital and institutions that actually use the data centers and attach them with the life sciences space for the type of research that they are doing. In the Seattle market, a lot of it is around the genomics and personalized medicine there. Last question, because we're just about out of time. If you fast forward a decade to now, how much would life science have fueled the change in the very structure of an institution like Columbia?
So I think, that's, we probably spend a whole conference just talking about that, and everybody is, got a good perspective on being futurists.
You got 2 minutes.
And we got a minute and 40 seconds. This is always the best part of being up here, is this, you get the hook behind the screen. I think that how it all kind of comes together, I'm sorry, why don't you just...
Basically looking at kind of a decade from now, how do you think that the life sciences field is going to change an institution such as yours?
So I think sort of it goes hand in hand on the rest of the conversation is that you're seeing a tremendous convergence between science, between clinical care. I think, many different dialogues around personalized genomic medicine, looking at people in an individual basis. All of that's going to also translate into looking at existing compounds that are out there that might become able to treat ailments that people might have. So I think in no time in history, I think you've seen where the MD, PhD people are going to come closer and closer and work more and more together. So I think that what that's going to translate into is that there's going to be a greater unison between academic institutions like ours, where scientists and physicians are working together, but I think it's going to spawn a whole area of collaboration between the private side and basic life sciences and clinical care.
Awesome. With that, we finished on time. Thank you very much, Patrick, for the conversation.
Thank you.